a moment. But first, we all know the Texans aren't good. We all know the Texans are dealing with a lot of injuries. And we all know the Texans are rebuilding. But unlike last year and the year before, they're not hopeless. So you're allowed to be annoyed, pissed, frustrated with what you saw yesterday because they were down 28-10 at one point in yesterday's game. And they were down 14-0 early in yesterday's game. I bet a lot of you guys tuned out after that happened. Shane Steichen has a perfectly scripted first drive. Colts score. Anthony Richardson runs it in for a touchdown. Right after that, C.J. Stroud, the Texans go 3-and-out. You think, oh, wait, nope. C.J. Stroud fumbled, lost it. Colts recover. Very next play, it's another Anthony Richardson rushing touchdown. Richardson got concussed on the play. He left the game. In comes Gardner Minshew, who's a pretty good backup quarterback as far as backup QBs go. A guy who has familiarity with Steichen's offense, having been there in Philadelphia. And the Colts continue to move the football up and down against a DeMeco Ryans-led defense. This loss falls on DeMeco Ryans. I'm not crazy like some of you people say, oh my God, they got to move on from DeMeco Ryans. Oh, this wasn't the right hire after 2 games. There's going to be some growing pains for DeMeco Ryans, much like there are for the quarterback. But between being outcoached by Shane Steichen, I thought throughout this game, looking worse off defensively against a backup quarterback, bad tackling, bad game management decisions. I don't know why the Texans thought it was a good idea to call a timeout with the Colts marching towards their end zone before halftime. I think they thought that maybe they would be able to force a punt with like a minute left. They would have had the ball inside their own 10, inside their own 20 with probably no timeouts. It was a weird move. They should have let the clock continue to run. There was also that moment where the Colts brought their offense back out in for the punt team in the middle of the play. And I doubt they would have done anything other than hard count. But the Texans were caught off guard on that 4th and short. They had to call one of their last timeouts. Game management looked bad. And then down the stretch, I mean, C.J. Stroud had some nice moments as the Texans threw for yards at the very end of the game. But they moved at a glacial pace. And all of this falls, I think, on DeMeco Ryans yesterday. And I get there are some obstacles that they had to overcome. And I'm not saying that the guy is a bad coach and that we can really grade him in totality as a coach at this point. But they lost a game. They were favored at home against a team with a rookie quarterback that did not even finish the game. That's where you're at. So you're allowed to be frustrated. And if you didn't watch the game, I don't blame you. If you tuned out of the game early, I don't blame you. 713-780-3776 to call in, to text in. Sean A. Mapes is behind the glass. This falls on DeMeco for the most part, right, Sean?
Yeah, I think this is mostly a coaching loss between DeMeco and you mentioned the tempo of the offense, which I put more on Slowick. I get the head coach.
Fair point.
Wears some of that, but when it's DeMeco, is a more defensive, at
least that's our assumption, right?
Yeah, as a defensive coordinator, probably has more free reign for the offensive coordinator. And in this case, it's Bobby Slowick. During the hurry-up drill, not that hurried.
Nope.
That's really bad. We talked about it last week. I know Slowick mentioned it too, with like the procedural stuff that the Texans still aren't good enough at, and I guess that makes sense. Rookie quarterback, rookie head coach, rookie offensive coordinator. But in cases like this, I don't want to say it cost them the game, but it cost them making the game close. It cost any chance that they had winning the game because they could not execute a hurry-up offense.
No, they couldn't. And also factor in yesterday the just terrible running attack. What was it? 26 carries for 52 yards. And we heard Bobby Slowick say last week, hey, we're going to run the football more. Okay, well, maybe don't run the football. And I get it. You want to protect C.J. Stroud. You want to help your offensive line out. But clearly the only way that this team is going to move the football is if C.J. Stroud airs it out. And I got to say, I mean, the receivers, they're not the problem on this team. The quarterback's not the problem on this team. The offensive line, obviously, a lot of injuries at this moment in time. But I felt like Bobby Slowick didn't 100% know what he was working with in this game. And yet again is on the fly figuring out what works and what doesn't work. And on the other side of things, this team's supposed to have a good defense. They did very well against Baltimore week 1. They looked like ass yesterday. Terrible. Zach Moss is running all over you. Gardner Minshew is throwing all over you? Okay, Michael Pittman's a good wide receiver. Who the F is Alec Pierce? You should not have had that kind of performance defensively. But I do want to focus on the positives now that we've gotten the negatives out of the way. CJ Stroud, I thought, looked great. I really did. He, in this game, showed toughness, got sacked 6 times, made some, I think, really good throws. Definitely some bad decisions along the way. But he was the one that kept this team in the game. And by in the game, barely in the game, but he kept them in the game. And when you look at Stroud and look at what he's doing out there with the receiving cast that he has, did you know that Nico Collins is 5th in the NFL in receiving right now? He is 5th. That is insane. I
saw that and I thought there has to be some funny money happening where it's because they finished the game or something. Right. The NFL page hasn't refreshed and all the actual good receivers come to the top. Nope, Nico Collins. Shout out.
Collins look good.
Extended preseason.
We finally saw Tank Dell out there, Sean. Robert Woods continues to do things. John Mechie even had a catch. And some of these numbers came in garbage time, so I think it's fair to raise an eyebrow at CJ Stroud's final stat line. But we're talking about a guy who almost threw for 400 yards passing, and he had 2 touchdown passes. I thought that CJ Stroud looked really good in this game, and I think that from game 1 to game 2, there was progress made. And I got to say, I should be more skeptical. I should be more cynical. But after DeMeco Ryans said some complimentary things about CJ Stroud at the press conference for DeMeco, I decided to ask Stroud, hey, what is it that gives you this winning mentality? And I'm not going to lie, I was mesmerized and pumped up by this answer that he gave me.
Those people sitting right back there, my family, I think where I come from, and I don't have no pity for myself. I don't feel bad. I don't want anybody to feel bad for me, but the odds have been stacked against me since I've been a kid. And I think God has put a special plan in my life, and I think that he's not done with me yet. And I have a lot, not even just football, but a lot more life to live, to give to people. I think that's something that I want to keep doing and be better at, just giving. Giving my thought. That's why I sit here and explain things so detailed to y'all, because I think it means something, you know what I mean? And I think, of course, coming from a place like Ohio State, where Coach Day, he was hard on me, really hard on me, and I appreciated it. I didn't like it at first, but as it kept going and I kept fighting every day, and sometimes we fight against what he was saying. I learned the hard way, but at the end of the day, now I'm kind of seeing what he was implying. CJ, do this, do that. I would go the other way, and I would get myself in a turmoil, and then start listening to great people that you entrust. You know what I mean? And I trust my family. I trust my coaches, and I think people are dependent on me, and I love that responsibility.
And he kept on talking. He talked about his faith. You all know me, if you've listened long enough, as somebody who has his own issues with faith, and I am very jealous of the people that are actually able to keep it. And Stroud just gave such an awesome answer over about 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And I'm thinking as I'm listening to him, and I'm just looking him in the eyes, because he's looking me in the eyes as he's giving this answer. And I'm not saying that Your Eyes was playing in the background like in the movie Say Anything, but I can't help but be really excited about CJ Stroud, where he continued to fight no matter what odds are stacked against him, and that winning mindset that he has out there.
So you asked, and listen, that is a great answer by CJ Stroud.
It was a great answer.
The question, though, you asked CJ Stroud about his winning mindset.
Yeah.
After, he's 0-2 as a NFL starter.
Whoa.
Hasn't won anything.
Whoa.
He hasn't actually won.
Well,
he has a winning mindset. Well, sure. That was a good answer. Good stuff. Ryan Day.
Well, when you put it like that,
not a winning mentality. I guess he has the mentality of winning, but hasn't actually won. He hasn't covered.
You know what? That's a fair point. He hasn't won. He hasn't covered. Last year's Texans team did cover with Davis Mills and Lovie Smith. Why do you got to bring me down, man?
No, I just, you said winning mentality.
But he does have a winning mentality.
this is some real hairs that we're splitting right here between. Yeah, sure, he has the mentality to win.
Yeah,
he just
has it.
Actually won.
But he has a winning mentality. Come on,
No.
come on, man. No. You gotta believe like I do. I'm not gonna lie. I believe in C.J. Stroud right now.
No, I believe in C.J. Stroud. I don't believe in the softball Texans media asking him about winning mentality after he loses.
What? I was asking him about what DeMeco Ryans said about him. DeMeco said that, and I just asked about what DeMeco said. I'm being a Big J journalist here. I'm asking about a quote. Boy, that was the best answer anyone got at the press conference.
Real friendly to the team.
I know,
media.
that was a softball. It was a bit of a softball. But it was an awesome answer. He points to his family in the back of the room. He talked about his faith and how he wants to use football as like a platform for that. And it wasn't like inauthentic like you hear from Russell Wilson. I loved hearing it. I'm not going to lie. I loved everything I heard there. I loved what I saw from Stroud. But crap.
It is a little.
You're so right.
I'm just saying it's a little like, hey, what'd you think? What was your winning mentality? If I was on that's why I know C.J. Stroud's a good guy. Because if I was on the podium, I'd be like, what are you talking? Winning mentality?
Well, what should I have asked him? Like, so like you have this winning mentality.
How much do you hate George Fant right now? That's what I would have asked. If I don't give me a credential.
What else could I have asked there? It's like, well, you have this winning mentality, but you're 0-2. Are you starting to question your faith? I guess I could have done that too. Yeah, I think we're in for a long year. But hey,
good answer by CJ. Good answer by CJ.
It was a good answer.
C+ question by Paul.
Oh, F you. I believe in CJ Stroud, okay? I do. That answer has me. He looked good. You look at me so skeptical. Screw you, Sean.
He looked fine. Like he does.
He looked more than fine. He was good.
He looks good.
Oh, you suck.
But just
you
winning
suck.
mentality. Winning mentality. If any
he
other
does have a mentality. It's about the mentality.
If we saw a tweet of any other 0-2 team asking their starting quarterback, who's also 0-2 in his career, about his winning mentality, we would have some questions.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. But his mentality is different. Because he's a winning mentality, even though they can't cover the spread. Damn it. It's so depressing. Screw this.
Can't get all the other guys to have a winning mentality.
We're done. We're done.
Kirk Heinrich doesn't have a winning mentality.
He did. I mean, he got the false start that gave the Texans another chance to kick a field goal.
He almost saved the season.
Yeah. Fairbairn shouldn't have given up number 7 for C.J. Stroud. He should have stuck with it.
That's not a winning mentality.
No, that is a winning mentality. You're a kicker. Oh, you're just going to hand your number over to the quarterback? Huh. Interesting. Yeah, it sucked. I don't know what else to say. I mean, that wasn't a good performance by DeMeco. I saw Lamont tweet in, like, Steichen outcoached him. Yeah, Steichen pantsed him. Steichen looks like a really good hire for Indianapolis, at least based off of 1 week. Obviously, the Jaguars game went a little bit differently.